Hey everybody, it's Eddie J on crypto4growmybag.tv. Hope you're having a good one. So we all know that on Saturdays I normally don't do videos, but I woke up this morning and was just relaxing, having breakfast, drinking my tea, doing research, and said to myself, I think I'm going to do a video. There's a little bit of news out there that, we should probably, dig into a little bit. So one of them is Fed Governor Christopher Waller got out yesterday. Thank you, Captain Banana, and was talking about DeFi and his concerns about security. Now, I tell people all the time when it comes to DeFi, you must pay attention to the security posture of whatever DeFi platform you're using, whatever bridges you might be using, right? Whatever you are using, you should be concerned with security. And most people are not. And that's how, people get burned. You should always be paying attention to security and limiting your risks as you're using any one of these platforms. So Christopher Waller also added on top of that, hey, listen, regulation is going to be a very big deal when it comes to DeFi. And I started thinking about that. When I first heard about this last night, took a peek, and then I took a peek again this morning, and I was thinking about, everything that I was saying. And one of the things that caught my attention is the fact that most people don't understand about security when it comes to these things, and they're not paying attention. Most people don't understand the fundamentals of crypto, and that's another problem. So I've answered that problem with a book, but when it comes to DeFi and security, that's a daily, ongoing thing that you should be paying attention to. But then I started thinking, DeFi is what? Banking on steroids, right? And I'm listening to people that have basically destroyed the financial industry. Destroyed it. And people might be sitting there going, how do you figure it's destroyed? So during the Big Bagger meeting last night, I described to people that there was a movie. It was either I think it was Mary Poppins, where the kids got a lesson on banking, a lesson on saving their money. They didn't get a lesson on investing. They got a lesson on saving their money in a bank. And so one of the big baggers had said, one of the reasons why it's like this is because we were indoctrinated to thinking about savings. Save, 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 right? And we'll pay you a little bit of interest. But nobody was ever taught this is how they make the money to pay us the interest. Just trust us, and we'll give that to you. And then over the years, we went from nice interest rates to okay interest rates to almost nothing. And that's when you've got to sit there and you've got to say to yourself, well, how does that happen? Well, it happens on purpose. So when you look at DeFi, you're looking at all these different things that actually happen, and you're sitting back and you're going, I can see how they make their money. I have to know how they make their money for me to understand how I'm going to make my money. Then we got into a bigger discussion about how we were never taught about investment in general. Most parents didn't teach their kids because most parents never learned about it either. And so now you sit back because the things that we were taught to invest in, money markets, banks. Mutual funds, banks. Savings accounts, banks. And you're like, whoa, yeah. I mean, mutual funds, you can argue, okay, not really banks, but within that realm. And so we never really learned about investing, nor were we ever exposed to the tools. But now, today, we are exposed to those tools, have ready access right on our phones. So when you look at that, that's called opportunity. The opportunity to learn about investing. The opportunity to learn how you can make your money work for you, because that's what investing is. Saving your money is not having your money work for you. That is not what that is. That's somebody else making your money work for them, right? To make them money. And then they toss you a couple of crumbs. But if you learn how to do that yourself, well, There you go. We have one of our big baggers, a little bit of me too, that have just given up on banks. We use them for very specific things. But he's seriously given up on banks. He's like, why do I have to keep my money in the bank? I make more money keeping my money in a frickin' stable coin than I do leaving it in the bank account. Wow. And he's not wrong. Look at how much money you can make from staking, let's say USDC, versus how much money you get from your bank. Ouch. To say the least. And in that case, your money really is working for you, because the amount of money that you're making just from staking is more than your bank. And then if you take your money and you invest it in crypto and other things, you can actually do more. That's taking control over your money. That's not somebody else having control over your money. You want to know how people get burned when banks go out of business? Because the bank has your money. And if they go out of business, the bank has your money. They took a loan from us, and when they close, they've basically defaulted on that loan. And with that defaulting of the loan, you may or may not get your money back. And the timing of which, oof. So you can see the ripple effects. Unless you can afford to lose that money. Wait a minute. But they always tell us don't invest unless you're able to afford to lose that money. Yes, but when you were saving your money, you were never told that was an investment. You were never told you're loaning the bank money. You were never given the option to negotiate your loan rates with the bank, because that's what the yield is, right? Nuts. When you really start to dig in, you really start to look at things, that's really how it is. Wow. And then, aside from that, I'm just looking at the meeting of the big baggers, and I realized that 50% of the people, not including myself, obviously, 50% of the people that are on that call, women. I was giddy inside to see that there were 2 women that showed up. Because it's not we're trying to grow the big baggers, meeting. But for right now, we only have a handful, and we all couldn't make, not everybody could make it. But last night we had 2 guys and 2 ladies having conversation about money, about investing, about thoughts and ideas about how to do stuff, whether you make a lot of money or a little bit of money. Wow. And being open-minded. Powerful meeting. Powerful meeting. That's what made it awesome for me. Now, what we have is major U.S. banks lost $6.9 billion due to loan write-offs. It wasn't trillion, it was billion. $6.9 billion writing off loans. Bad debt. You can see how that's starting to blow up. People defaulting on loans. Yeah. So when I look at the housing bubble, when I look at real estate and all that stuff, why should I go out to the street and go buy something retail when I can go buy it in this kind of situation? In a distressed situation. Banks don't really want to be in the real estate market, but they're going to have to be, because you have a lot of loans. 90% of your loans are, between, actually, I want to say more, the percentage is higher than that. It's going to be real estate, and another percentage is going to be, autos, automobiles. That's insane. And it's growing. It's growing. On top of that, you want to know what the global debt is? The global debt is approaching $100 trillion. I'll give you a second to get up off the floor. I know you probably just passed out. 35% of that is from the United States. 35% of the global debt is the United States. Think about that. But everybody comes to us to borrow money. Wow. We need to stop funding everybody else. That's what needs to happen. But when I look at all that, I sit back and I go, we had better be prepared. We had better be prepared. Because what I'm thinking is that it's a strong possibility that some of these fiats are going to fail. I'll say it again. Some of these fiats are going to fail. Do I want to be stuck holding fiat, having no value? Not me. So I'm in crypto. And not all fiats are going to implode, but I mean, there's a reason why some of these fiat that's running around is like $1 to 10,000. It's crazy. It's crazy. Think about, go do some research on the value of the dollar and just do it from like 1984, right? Do it from like 1984 to today. And look at the sharp decrease in the value of a dollar. What can you purchase for a dollar? When I was a kid, I was able to go to White Castle and buy like 5 or 6 hamburgers. Sale days, hamburgers were 10 cents. A group of us kids would go out there and just buy bags of burgers and sit in the park goofing around eating burgers. That's crazy. That's crazy. Because we lived in walking distance from our neighborhood to White Castle. I think it was White Castle, then I think McDonald's, Wendy's, Burger King. Right? Or Wendy's, McDonald's, Burger King. And the Eddie Murphy Burger King from the movie Coming to America. That not Burger King, but that McDowell's was, I believe, Wendy's. They used that space for that. It was awesome. But you look at the value of a dollar from 1984 to now, and look at how much you cannot buy with a dollar. So is this fiat imploding over the years? When you look at that graph, you'll start to realize. But $100 trillion, $100 trillion in debt, the globe. That's insane. And then I look at the ECB raising concerns about Bitcoin's impact on wealth distribution. And I'm sitting back and I'm going, but you people ruined the financial industry around the world, not just the IMF, but around the world. The ECB, European Central Bank, and other banking institutions ruined banking around the world. And you're crying about Bitcoin. I'm sorry. What? Is that supposed to win me over, as if I'm too stupid to realize that your wealth distribution methods now are hosed? It's interesting. It's interesting how now you want to put down something that's at least closer to greater distribution. Because people can actually go buy Bitcoin. They can go trade for Bitcoin. How long was it that, stocks, bonds, options, treasuries, all that stuff was not made available to the general public? You had to go through a broker. That's a gate. Brokers didn't talk to you. Oh, what? Unless you had 5, 10, 20,000, they weren't talking to you. They were not talking to you. Which means the general public didn't have access to a large portion of the financial industry. Insane what they're saying now. Crying about it. It's not a problem of wealth distribution because it's going to the masses. It's because wealth distribution, some of it is leaving the wealthy. That's what they're really crying about. So they're raising concerns. Oh, you have concerns about that? That's good. I'll keep buying my Bitcoin. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Not really. BlackRock explores using its BUIDL tokenized fund as collateral for crypto derivatives trades. You need to pay attention to what BlackRock is doing. They're getting very creative with what they're doing. Pay attention to how the wealthy are making money. Because what they're showing you is there are some tools out there that you can use, that you can get involved in, where you can make money. Pay attention to it. Just pay attention to it. Just saying, there are opportunities. There are indeed opportunities. I'm still tripping over that $100 trillion number. The IMF warns that global government debt will surpass $100 trillion, urging immediate action to address rising debt risks as government spending on healthcare, climate adaptation, and energy security is expected to increase. No matter what they tell you, they have to spend money on climate change. They have to spend money on energy usage. Artificial intelligence requires a lot of computing power, which requires a lot of energy. That's why you're hearing about nuclear technology starting to take off, whether it be SMRs, basically small reactors, compared to 3 Mile Island, which is also being refired or turned back on. You have that going around the world. You have creative things like using garbage to create energy. Wow. Wow, wow. So pay attention. Pay attention, folks. I'm not going to bother to get into the numbers because this was supposed to be just a short little video, but the numbers are looking good. Bitcoin's at like 68,000, right? There are a lot of losers. There are a lot of winners. We should be paying attention to that kind of stuff. Dogecoin is up another 7% today. Who else? Not a lot. Everybody's kind of moving sideways and moving up slowly, right? I'm looking at the numbers right now. Yeah, a lot of sideways momentum. Axie Infinity is up 10%. I mean, you don't have a ton of upward momentum right now for a lot of these coins. I mean, right now, you only have 15 coins out of the top 250 that are above my 5% rule, right? Gala, Floki, Doge, Ondo, the Sandbox Turbo, Pendle, Axie Infinity, those are the ones. And Goatsius Maximus is still rising. It's up another 25% today. I should have bought yesterday, but I don't like mucking around with that stuff. I'll just take it that I lost the opportunity. Not a big deal to me. But we should be paying attention to these opportunities that arise that give us a chance to actually go do something. Anyway, this is Eddie J on crypto for growmybag.tv. I hope you enjoyed my seldom Saturday videos. Have a good one, everybody. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.